How are you doing? I hope you're doing great and you're having a wonderful time with your family and that you're surrounded by those you love and those who love you. I think it's time to just remember who we are as citizens of the United States. It's a very trying time of year with the war in Gaza, Israel, and also the war in Ukraine with Russia. We are intensely involved in these two wars, and of course there are many other areas of fighting around the world. But focusing on the two areas in which the United States is involved, it's time to remember who we are as a people and what the United States stands for. We really respect Israel for standing up against people who invaded their country and murdered some citizens. However nice or grisly the murders were, they're still murders, and murder is always something that is horrible. Of course, the people in Gaza were for many years under strain in the small area to which they were confined. There were, I'm told, over 2 million people in an area that is 5 miles wide and 22 miles long, and it's bordered on one side by the Mediterranean Sea. Well, that's just very, very small, overcrowded, and when you overcrowd an area, you always are going to get uprisings. Unfortunately, that has always been a pattern for the world in the past. People need personal space. They need space. And if they don't have that space for whatever reason, things do go towards fighting. Israel is a special country in that it is Jewish and it is white. It is male dominated, and they have their own language, their own beliefs, and so forth. Gaza is, of course, a very religious country also. They have their religious beliefs. Their skin colors vary, but they have people on the dark side as well as the light side. And they have their own language, and they want to fight for their beliefs. The United States is very different. We are composed of many types of people, dark and light, Jewish, Muslim, and tons of other religions as well. We are mainly a Christian country, and we have a lot of our laws based on Christian beliefs and the Bible. So we differ from both the Muslim countries and Israel. And so at this time of year, as we are going into our religious holidays, it's time to remember what we stand for in the United States. Over Christmas, we sing songs of joy, peace, love, holding hands, being together, uniting with various people around the world, sharing our love, and hoping to work together every day, not just during the holiday, for a better, more peaceful place to live. I was reading today that Israel now wants to go after Hezbollah. They've been fighting Hamas in Gaza, but they now want to also include Hezbollah and Jordan. This really doesn't go along with American beliefs, and it certainly is not something we want to get involved with over our religious holiday, which is starting in November and concludes at the end of December, and for some, even into January. So as far as joining Israel in expanding their war, it is really something that America should not be doing because it is not part of our American beliefs. I don't know exactly what's going on with Israel and Hezbollah. Americans are not taught much about these religious wars in the Middle East and what's going on a regular basis. Unless you sign up for courses or you are involved in those religions, for most Americans, these things seem very far apart and things that we may not understand. We may not understand the deep level of hatred that goes back many, many generations. We can't understand the years of blaming and the years of feuding, stress, strife, and fear. So as we go into our religious holiday, we expect in the United States respect for our religion and our religious beliefs. Just as we have shown respect for the Muslim religious holidays, and as we have shown respect for the Jewish religious holidays, I think Americans need to demand respect for our Christian holidays, which are currently upon us and will be going on for at least 2 months. So I don't think the United States should in any way get involved with the war that Israel wants against Hezbollah and Jordan. Americans don't know what's going on in those countries, and if we were expected to know about these conflicts, we would have been taught those conflicts on our media. Certainly, we have enough media to keep everybody informed about any serious conflicts. This is not a time where the United States wants to get involved in a big war and start to send military abroad in order to kill people in any of these countries. In the United States, we all have friends, some of which are Muslim, some of which are Jewish, some of which are Christian, and on and on. So I think it's a time for everybody to respect the United States and not try to drag us into unnecessary wars. These conflicts between Israel and Jordan, Israel and Hezbollah, Israel and ISIS and Hamas have been going on for centuries. So it really, really is not something that we need to draw our attention to now or get involved with now. Israel can go on and fight whatever complaints it has against these countries, and the Ukraine can continue its fight. It's going to be very hard on the Ukraine over the winter months, and it is believed that Russia has a lot of resources it has never even used against the Ukraine. So that Ukrainian war could go on forever, or it could be ended quickly by Russia if it wanted to. But we all know that these countries gain a lot, in billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and so forth in dollars from the United States by having wars. This is not money we should be spending in foreign countries. As the war against the Muslims and the Jews continues on, we see more and more fighting in the United States because we are a mixed country. And this divides the United States. It divides our people such that we go to visit various cities and we find people for Palestine on one side and people for Israel on the other, shouting hatred at each other and sometimes causing fights. It's shocking. I saw a news article today where a 14-year-old boy was ganged up by about 15 black students. The boy that was ganged up upon was white with blonde hair. I don't know exactly why they ganged up on this boy. It seemed like really only a few of the boys were really beating on this child, but I'm sure the child looked around and saw 15 people and just imagined that he would never, ever be able to make it out of this fight alive. This is not the type of stuff we want in the United States. I don't know why they were beating up on this child. Perhaps if they arrest some of these kids and find out what was going on, we can have some type of idea what drove them to such anger and hate. But certainly seeing people on street corners yelling at each other when they're Jews against Muslims is not what we need in the United States. Some of that money that's going to other countries should be diverted to solving United States problems. There's a such thing as self-love. You can love other people and you want to help them, and so you give all your energy to these other people. But in doing so, you neglect yourself. You neglect your own family. To give an example, suppose you had a friend who came from a terrible family, and then you found out about it. So you go to help your friend. You find out that they're poor, that their housing is bad. You find out that the husband and wife are involved in domestic violence. You find out that their kids are doing drugs, that their kids are being raped, and you just pour yourself into this family's situation to help them out. And you are there all the time helping them resolve their problems. However, over time, you find your own family is falling apart. You're coming home, your husband is unhappy with his home situation now because you're never there. And you find yourself arguing with your husband. He may even start hitting on you. Your children are not being monitored correctly because you're helping another family. Your husband's at work and your children are not being supported and monitored correctly. You have to do self-love, like it or not. You have to take your resources and take care of yourself and do what you can for others, but don't sacrifice yourself and your own home in order to help another person who may never ever come out of their complicated problem, which is mixed with a lot of hate, resentment, fear, and long-term problems. So it's time for the United States to do some self-love, to take that money that they're sending to the Ukraine, take that money that they're sending to Israel, to take those billions of dollars and focus them on areas of the United States which need healing. You can imagine what a problematic area in the United States could do with $500 million or $1 billion. And you can imagine how much better American lives could be if we could fix housing for people who've been here their whole lives and never have seen good, safe housing. That money can do a whole lot. And that's why sometimes when Americans travel abroad, they look and see these countries and think, wow, these people are living much better than me. Maybe some of the money that's making those other foreign countries great is our own American dollars. So focus on ourselves. Make sure that Americans are doing great. Make sure we are resolving problems that are developing in the United States that divide us, that cause hatred, that cause fights, that will lead to deaths right here in the United States. You can't always fix the house of your best friend. You can't always fix the house of your neighbor. But you can take care of your own house. You can take care of your own house. You can take care of your own house. And I think that's where our focus needs to be right now as we are beginning to try to celebrate our own American religious holidays. Sure, Americans will be spending a lot, and they will have to pay the price for gasoline and for gifts. But our own resources can make Christmas a whole lot better for Americans if Americans would focus on America. Give America some of that love that we're sending to other countries. Stop sending American hate to other countries. Let them know that we can't fix all of your problems. We can help with some, but at some point, America has to say, take care of your people. Take care of those you are elected to take care of, and let the other people take care of the people in their own country. Sometimes people have to change in other countries in order to find long-lasting peace. We're not going to decide what changes those countries need to make. That's going to be something they have to do themselves, and that they're going to have to decide how long people want to live with hate. You can't stop hate from people who want to hate. So, I don't know. This is just what I'm thinking. And what are you thinking as we get into this holiday season? I certainly don't want another holiday with people arguing politics over the Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner table. I hope we can find peace in our own hearts and towards our fellow Americans. And I hope we can say that the problems in Israel, the problems in Gaza, are problems that need to be resolved, and that Israel should stop bombing Gaza. Gaza is so small, I can't even think of an American town that's that small. 22 by 5 miles. That is very, very small. And certainly bombing an area that small for a month and a half, continual bombing day and night, that's a very small area. And that's massive, massive bombing. Much, too much. If you can't find your target in that many days in that small of an area, they have probably escaped and they are long gone. So Israel has to start thinking, using their head as to how they can better handle their relations with their neighbors over there in their country. And Americans need to use our heads to help continue to have peace in the United States, to bring holiday and Christmas love, and to continue to make America a better country, a safe country for the years to come. So what do you think? Like and subscribe. Bye.